Hey, fourth grade. So today we are looking at, this is Tuesday's assignment. So Tuesday's assignment says, now this is an assignment. You're not gonna get it finished in 5 minutes. It's gonna take you some research. It's gonna take you some time. I've been working on this for about 30 minutes to an hour, trying to find the right resources so that I could answer my question for today. So that means I've been spending that much time searching the web doing my research. So it says today you need to research how your civil rights leader was affected by lack of civil rights. Make a video and share how your person was affected. Short and sweet, nothing too sweet, nothing too lengthy. Okay, so what I did was I went over here. I've had my screen split this whole entire time, and so. And also, I noted that you could add pbs.org. It's a wonderful website. You can add that to your list of sites that you can use for research. So I went to Kids Search. Kids Search is it's kind of like Google, but it's a kids, it's safe because it's protected. So you don't see words and pictures that you don't need to see. It's still a search engine, but it's safe. So what I did was I went first to pbs.org. Did not find what I was looking for. I just typed in John Lewis, and to save time, I'm not going to wait for that to come up because I only have 5 minutes with the program that I'm using to teach my lesson. So, all right. And so then I went to Ducksters.com, and the only thing I found for Freedom Writers here specifically was a timeline. So I decided I couldn't find what I needed there. Here's just another Ducksters page. This is Kids Search. All right. So I found, and what I did was you have to keep up with the websites that you go to. Like notes from my research. This is my source. This is called a source. And anytime you take information from a web page or from a book, encyclopedia, something like that, you have to document that source and give them credit for it. Because if you don't, it's called plagiarism. That's where you're taking somebody else's work, somebody else's words, and using them as yours. And that's not legal. It's illegal to do that. All right. So I put my documentation over here, and I've got my websites that I used for research, and I documented it here. But today's question said, you need to research how your civil rights leader was affected by lack of civil rights. Take notes for yourself. Okay, so you're not going to find where it says John Lewis was affected in the sense that segregation was blah, 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 blah. You're not going to find, it's not going to come out and say he was affected by civil rights by. Well, you're going to have to read some articles. Like here, is this history.com? This is the one that I used. Yep. Okay. So here on history.com, I read about civil rights activist Supreme Court decision. So the Supreme Court had ruled that segregation was illegal. That's what I'm getting from right here. Freedom Rides organized. They were modeled after organizations, Journey of Reconciliation. Supreme Court found that segregated bus seating was unconstitutional. They sought to test a 1960 decision by the Supreme Court in Boynton versus Virginia that segregation of interstate transportation facilities, including bus terminals, was unconstitutional, a big difference. Okay. In both actions, bus riders traveled to the Jim Crow South where segregation continued to occur. So how was he affected? How did I get that how were blacks in general? And John Lewis, he's an African American, so he was affected. So it doesn't come out and say John Lewis was affected by blah, blah, blah. So here's what I wrote. John Lewis was affected in the sense that segregation of America's public transportation was wrong. The problem was that he and other African Americans could ride in the buses, but the problem was when those desegregated buses rode into segregated states. So even though the Supreme Court had ruled that segregation was to end, segregation was still happening in the South. It's about to end. That's why I read so fast.